Good morning. I hope you're doing great in this lovely recording, in this podcast specifically. In our previous podcasts, we tried to dig deep to the bottom line of English and trying to understand the structure and the fabrics of this beautiful language. But that's not enough. We need to elaborate more on the specifics here and learn more details from the story of Joanna that we had in our previous podcasts. What we try to do is having some sort of analysis of the recording and the reading, and then looking at each one of the words here and trying to understand how it performs within the environment of the text. We're not critically trying or linguistically analyzing it or its etymology or anything like that, because the whole purpose of this reading is to engage the listeners and readers in so many peripheral or auxiliary details to a point of saturation or satiation of the topic, so they can look at it from different perspectives and different angles. Now, why would we assume that if the reader or the listener who is engaged in multiple perspectives will benefit from that kind of approach? Well, in my understanding, and according to the sample of test takers that I have come across in my life, I really think it's very important to look at the word and the tribe or the clan of the word, its adjacent neighbors, also the approximation of this word within the context of its use, and how this word belongs to a certain family of nouns, adjectives, adverbs, and so on and so forth. So aside from the grammatical categorization of each one of these words, we need to look at the word, for example, the word middle here. We need to look at it from the point of what it means, how it is relevant to our use, socially speaking. What's the meaning of this word in Arabic? That's why when we look at the word, we overstress the importance of pronunciation. Like, this word is pronounced in two variations. First one is middle, and the second one is middle, with a schwa between da and la. Now, does that make a big difference? Actually, it does not make that much difference. But, and here is the kicker, if we look at the word from multiple perspectives or multiple angles, maybe it will stick more, relatively more, in our memory. My role is to throw vocabulary at you and to ensure that the majority of this vocabulary in your mind, so that you can activate them later on in use. What am I benefiting from this? I'm spreading the word, telling people about the importance of English, their psychological, social, and other benefits, mutually speaking. And respectively, every single word within this kind of context contributes directly or indirectly to your improvement. It takes you one step further in your improvement of listening, vocabulary, pronunciation, grammar, and so on and so forth. So just because we are doing it slowly and carefully doesn't mean that you are not going to get any benefit from. not only do I stress the importance of pronunciation, but I overemphasize the fact that we have to look at vocabulary from multiple angles. And I have a very valid reason for that. And this reason stems from very simple language principle. Sometimes rote learning and repetition help develop a mechanical, habitual memory pattern for the majority of people. So they learn faster and better, and in a way that can be conducive to far more improvement later on in their stages of learning. When we look at the podcast that we're presenting here, my goal is not to just read. I always have a goal behind every single podcast, every single slide I present to you. For example, if you look back at the town of Bumbleville, the majority of the passage is revolving around the fact that there are so many phrasal verbs. When you look at the passage of Tom that I presented, if you scroll back on my YouTube channel, I happen to highly appreciate if you can just subscribe and share with people to spread the word again. So the word is spreading the word. To spread the word means to tell people about it. Now, when we look at the word middle, there are so many variation of meanings for this word. But our goal is not just to look at the word and the elongated list of its meanings, but rather see how it performs, how it actualizes its meaning within the context. For there are so many words in English that, statically speaking, if you look at the word in dictionary, it doesn't give you that much meaningfulness for the word. Like, for example, the word mouth. I can think of an example here. We use the word mouth for the human mouth, for the animal mouth. But also we use the word mouth for the river. So the mouth of the river. Interesting, right? And this is the beauty that we see when we read more. When you hear someone complaining about their lack of ability to write well, that's just because they are bad readers, not bad psychologically speaking. If we convert it into scalable and calculatable measurements, we can just say he is not reading more than 10 pages per month. Like on a daily basis, I ensure that I read one essay from New York Times or The Guardian or BBC, and also I satisfy myself with enough listening. I benefit a lot from creating the content here to improve my English conversation with you, with my audience, through consultation and the classes that I provide online for them. However, my case is a specific case because I'm a professor of English. Your case has relatively less contact with English, and that obligates you to look for alternatives. And these alternatives are finding conversation partners interested in maintaining good conversation about topics, recording yourself with the camera or a telephone, and then publishing that offline on YouTube so you can access it, or develop some sort of social network of people who are really interested in the matter of learning language. There are so many approaches people have, but I remember a saying or a quote from my professor. He used to say, There is no one way. There are ways. Now, the point of this conversation is to instill and indoctrinate you. See, I'm using these words intentionally as we develop this kind of beautiful conversation with you as audience, as listeners, as readers, looking at this word or that word. For example, the word night. If we do not maintain contact with language, with vocabulary, it will die out and you will forget it. I remember a story of a friend of mine who completed his PhD back in US. He came back and unfortunately with the lack of social stimulus and interaction using language, he started to lose language. And he started to have some hesitation when he speaks and stutters, and was complaining to me the other day about this kind of case. And I just couldn't help but just say, find a conversation partner, because language is like a human being. You need to provide nutrients to this human being to stay alive. And you need to maintain some sort of sports or practice, going to gym or exercising, so that you maintain your physique. And he was psyched up when I said that. And he said then, well, I would rely on you to find me a conversation partner. Then I was like, I think I made a mistake. But the point is, if he is listening to me, please, I will find a conversation partner for you. The point that I want to make here, this whole text, without our interaction and listening to me and probably trying to read the text, listen to this conversation, satiate your ears with enough listening, but not to the artificial listening, to the listening that is already prepared and planned. Try to seek for sources that are organic, sources that provide real, true English quality. And these can be found on YouTube, where you can subscribe to channels of people who are content creators, but they do not read from a script. Now, I understand that reading from a script is very important because it helps you access and get exposure to a wide variety of vocabulary within the context of science or technology or artificial intelligence or medicine or math or law. But, and there's always a but, we need to raise ourselves from the technicality of terminology that we have gathered in our field to look prospectively to a common ground English that is shared and that is interlinking every citizen in this global system using English. And that happens when we listen to those content creators from other fields and trying to gather as much as possible from their experiences, from their vocabulary that they share. Nowadays, there is the trend of podcasting. Now, people started to, give up on the ridiculous, quick content because that is not satisfying their experiences. They have grown up and they have matured in terms of the content creation, because YouTube has been here for like more than 15 years, I guess. And people have developed some sort of growth and maturation process through the trillions of hours of videos that people have watched around the globe. They developed some more sophisticated system of listening and filtering the content that is useful to them and the content that is counterproductive to them. That is just wasting their time and collecting data about their use and even their eye look and, the tactile movement of their fingers on the screen and what they touch and what they do. So this behavioral collection of data that benefits Facebook / YouTube / other platforms that get sold to big marketing / sales companies, people started to mature and rise above that kind of, trendy videos of makeup or cooking or anything. Not just to ridicule this kind of content, but for us, we're after mental enrichment of language and practice and improving our communication to better. And one way we can go around the tricky content there and go about that is to create a breakthrough approach where we just tailor it to our own needs. Teachers and / content creators, especially in the EFL context, they say, well, learners know what they want, but they don't know what they need. And this is very interesting. I can tell from reading this book, The Developing Teacher. I hope you can have an access to it. It's by Duncan Ford, and he's a teacher, trainer, and the director of a language school in Spain. He is also the co-author of the Language Teacher's Survival Guide. Very interesting author. He talks about the practical activities for professional development of teachers, especially within the context of SALTA. And it's less than 100 pages. It's actually 88 pages, excluding the reference section. And he highlights key important points here that, let me just read to you something that I quite highlighted. It's called the development flow. There is high confidence and there is high challenge. So with high confidence, he is not aware of the need to improvement. But with the high challenge, people become aware of the needs to improve, because we don't need high confidence as much as we need challenge. Because when we challenge ourselves, we come to know our weaknesses and our strengths and try to fill in the gaps of our weaknesses. This is very interesting, 88 pages book that I highly recommend you lay your hand on and buy it. It's available in Mutanabbi for people in Iraq. The point that I want to mention here quite distinctively and clearly is that we don't need confidence, because I talk a lot about confidence, but I came to mature from that kind of benchmark of measuring people's proficiency and fluency to more of a person who is a challenge seeker. And I try always to challenge myself to be in interviews or podcasts with people who are better than me, because I benefit from them. And if I'm better than them, I benefit them. So it's a mutual relation of beneficiaries. So this cycle of beneficiaries is very important for you to take you from where you are to where you want to be, respectively, in the future. So this kind of reading that I'm not reading right now, honestly, is taking me to a very important conclusion that we do not need simple readings to improve our reading or listening. We need a little bit of challenge to see where our weaknesses are in the geography of vocabulary of English. We do not understand English or any other language because we do not understand the verb and the theme or the communication signals among interlocutors, or the discourse markers of people who speak impatiently and quickly about things that they just want them to get done. Therefore, we need to understand that with the higher level of challenge, we come to know our weaknesses in language. This is our conclusion of this podcast. Don't seek to improve your confidence, because your confidence is just a marketing topic that has been promulgated by so many so-called pundits or experts in the field of language and human development. I do advocate for seeking for challenges through public speaking events, venues, or participating in intensive boot camp course of English or of training, or for teachers. This is the thing that will let you bloom within your field and within your self-improvement trajectory of English. In the middle of the night, the hole in the wall appeared again. Appeared again. Appeared. So appeared بمعنى ظهرت. Appear. Appeared. 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 It's an intransitive. By the way, intransitive هو فعل غير متعدي، لا يحتاج إلى مفعول به. يعني ظهر الضوء. The light appeared. He appeared. ما نحتاج إلى مفعول به، فيسموه intransitive. Intransitive verb. So that's the meaning of this word. Again. Now, I'm not sure why they are saying the word again, because it's kind of repetition. However, it fits the context here. George Orwell, I think in one of his beautifully written essays, mentions that if you want, I'm paraphrasing what he wrote. If you want to be a great writer, try to get rid of anything that is not useful to your story. So Joanna was happy. Was happy that she hadn't imagined it. Now, we talked about this structure of past perfect, and we said when there are two parallel events where one of them preceded or came before the other one. Now, the one that takes the priority of had is the event that took place first. Very simple. She opened the empty bag. Now, there are two variations of this word. We can say empty, if you like your lips to be zipped. You can say empty, or you can say empty without P, and I'm an advocate of the latter. In front of the hole. Then one by one, she threw things into the hole. Look, there's some logical sequence. Interestingly, I noticed two things about native speakers and writers who come with nativeness background or mother tongue background. They always use short sentences. They are to the point. They are very keen to deliver the meaning intended to the listener on the expense of the difficulty of vocabulary choice, unlike me. Now, why am I using complicated vocabulary sometimes when I'm presenting these things? I'm presenting them because I want to introduce you to language, to vocabulary that are not common to you, and that's why you're listening to me here. You want to enrich yourself with more vocabulary. You need to have a vocabulary fortitude. You need to have a shield of vocabulary that gives you the language immunity, where you can go, do not struggle with understanding what people talk about. And that is why I came to be the teacher. I am presenting vocabulary to you that are really common, but you haven't heard because you haven't read or listened enough. Now that's, in a nutshell, why I'm sometimes throwing on the table a big smorgasbord of vocabulary that might not be quintessentially on the line or in alignment with the topic I'm presenting. So even the wooden shoes went in. The wooden shoes. Even, I would say it's exactly similar to the kind of context that we use in Arabic when we talk about even. حتى the wooden shoes. But that doesn't happen always. Don't think contrastively for those people who study contrastive linguistics. Don't just think because this kind of context supports the use of even and being fronted in the structure of the sentence that this is applicable to every structure, syntactically speaking, in English. That's not the rule because the writer has very liberal flexibility of using rhetorics and metaphor to express his ideas, and they break free from the standard. The only thing she didn't throw in was the bag. Actually, I made a mistake here. When we say throw in, just try to attach the in preposition with throw, so you can create some sort of transitional harmony when you're reading this kind of structures in the bag. Now, this is one of the minority vocabulary in English. We weaken it. It's just because it's a functional word. It's not a content word. So we often don't get it stressed unless we just want to get it stressed. When the sun rose in the morning. Look, when the sun rose in the morning. When the sun rose in the morning. When the sun rose in the morning. The bag was full and heavy with coins. When the sun rose in the morning. In the morning, not on the morning, not at the morning, not above the morning, it's in the morning. This preposition fits the context snugly. Now, I want you to look up that word, snugly. This preposition fits the context of the sentence snugly. The bag was full and heavy with coins. Now, tell me now, what have you learned from the discussion and the chit-chat that we have made so far? I assume that you learned more vocabulary, that we extend your level of understanding and seek for meaning for each one of the vocabulary that you took note of. And this is where you need to play with your thumb and index to use your pen, write notes of each one of the vocabulary, and then try to look it up. It's actually the process of search that matters more than the end result of finding the meaning of it. That satisfies your thirst for language thirst of understanding what that word means and how it fits the context. What matters more is going through the struggle of finding something about this word or that word and what it means and what the peripheral meaning of it and any auxiliary information that we need in order to support our understanding of how this word is used in English, because sometimes certain words are not interchangeably used with other words that might seem very similar to each other, but they're not identical. And I don't think there is two words in English that are identical. They're similar, they're within the territory, but they're not identical. They're not twin words, I don't think. And even if there are, please feel free to share them with me. Thank you very much for listening to this podcast, and I look forward to seeing you in another one, inshallah. مدرب اللغة وليد خالد.